Hey, what's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery podcast. And today we're with Amy Somerville. Amy, how's it going today?
Very well here. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for asking. And it's good to finally connect with you and make this happen. I know we've been talking about it for a little bit now. So
Yeah, no, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
of course, of course. And Amy is the CEO of Success. And you're under the Success brand, which also publishes the magazine, right? Success Enterprises. You guys have a media company. You have coaching, success.com. I mean, you got an awesome resume here. All kinds of amazing stuff that you've done. I love success. I mean, it's really, I think we'll just have a conversation today about success if that's okay with you.
Sounds great. Sounds like exactly in my wheelhouse.
I think so, right? And so just to read people a little bit about Amy, is you are a mission-driven leader who's demonstrated success and effective teams, delivering dynamic learning strategies, building engaging communities. Prior to joining Success, Somerville was vice president of professional development and industry engagement at Buffini & Company, founder of Moment of Clarity LLC in her previous role as an executive with Remax, and also professional development, technology engagement, multimedia production, and education. Amy's recognized as the go-to high-energy speaker, panelist, and facilitator, having shared the stage with people like Jay Leno, Wayne Brady, Brian Buffini, and many other industry leaders while delivering to audiences exceeding 7,000. Awesome. Master of client engagement who responds to challenges with confidence, determination, and focus. So, wow. And there's so much more, but, I just tend to butcher resumes. So I'm just going to say, what's up, Amy? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that all sounds super fancy. My regular human being, day to day is a little less fancy and refined than that, but a ton of fun. And we're doing some really great things at Success for sure.
Awesome. Let's start off like what right now? Tell us something great that's going on and that you're having fun with right now.
Goodness. Well, I have been with Success as the CEO just short of 1 whole year.
Wow.
So it has, in some ways, it feels like it's been 10 minutes, and others, I feel like I've been here a lifetime. I actually it's serendipitous that I ended up in this space. My husband would say that I've manifested it over, the course of, a 20 plus year career. I actually am a long time subscriber of Success Magazine and collector. Believe it or not, in my previous life, I used to have a credenza that sat behind me in my office. Back when I was in a physical office in a corporate environment, and executives from all over would come in and almost check out the latest issue of Success Magazine. I credit it with helping me develop a mindset, a passion for mastery, for personal development, for getting uncomfortable, for really training myself to learn from those who have come before me and know better and have proven it all to be so. And so I was a huge fan of Success Magazine as a product, not ever imagining that I would be sitting in this role some 20 plus years later. I didn't even like to say that out loud. But it is, coming in, you have a perception of how things are and how things work. And I found, it's almost easier when you come in with a fresh vantage point and mindset. It's a lot easier than being in the trenches to look over the top as someone with a fresh perspective, but also a passion for the brand, and look over the top and go, I can see where some of the chess pieces could really benefit from moving or working together. And one of the things that was really clear to me, again, as someone who had a different vantage point, was that the entire ecosystem and power of the brand was not pulling together and supporting itself, if that makes sense. So you have the magazine as a product, and a lot of people are very familiar with it as a personal development, professional development, focused publication. But we do, Success does have a coaching arm, does have course content, does have speakers bureau, does have virtual events, does have all these things. And how could we make sure that we're pulling all that together to work in tandem or work in sequence and really get the full benefit of the brand? So that was jumping in last year and trying to move some of the puzzle pieces and the chess pieces to really leverage that power. And so coming into 2024, I can't even tell you, we had some incredible successes, pun intended, in 2023. And coming into 2024, we have a whole bunch of brand new initiatives that we're really excited about. Q1 is heavy. And we are jacked up about it. We're pumped up about it because we want to, our goal is to impact and educate those who want to do something, right? Want to take action to improve their lives in whichever way you absorb success content, whether it's through the magazine, whether it's through digital, whether it's through course content. We've got all kinds of fun stuff coming out because we know that we don't just hit, our audience, our diverse audience in one particular vein. I happen to be a print person. I love a good print magazine, books, that kind of thing, hardcover. But I get a lot of great information and inspiration through podcasts, through virtual events, through course content or certifications. And those are all places and ways that we will be launching out in Q1.
That's awesome. Well, that's congratulations, by the way, on all that amazing stuff happening. I just want to take a little trip back to memory lane with success. And I'm going back, oh gosh, it's got to be 15 years or so. Remember we used to get the CDs in the magazine?
Oh, yeah. I have a collection, my friend.
I still have them all. I don't think we have CD players in our car anymore, but I still they're in my glove. There's a bunch of them in my glove box,
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to get the magazine, to get the CD and then drive around and listen to it. And it was awesome. Remember the symposium? I don't know if they still, do you remember there was one, I think it was maybe, I don't know if Jim Rohn was on it, but recordings on it, but Darren Hardy and who's the other guy? It was awesome. Is there any favorite episode that you have of, if you go back to that's the one I always remember, that symposium.
Old school, I think Jim Rohn is, and that's, again, one of the things that attracted me to this position is that connection with Jim Rohn and him being kind of the foundational godfather. I place him in that space in my mind of personal development. That I think all the greats, the Tony Robbins and others would say, Darren would say, Jim was their role model, right? Their mentor, and they kind of launched off from that space. So I think Jim, Tony Robbins will always be one of those guys for me. I think that helped me move from looking at success as one dimensional to whole body, whole self. So I think he's certainly up there for me as one of the favorites. Darren Hardy is somebody I did a good amount of work in my previous career with, and I've seen him speak several times. I think he's phenomenal and has great content out there as well. That's unfair. That's almost like saying pick your favorite child.
I get it. So there's no you like them all, right?
I like them all. I'm driving around. I started my career in real estate, and my husband is a personal development guy as well, which is great. And we used to, drive around. You go show properties. We pop that CD in there and learn and be inspired, and take some activities to put into action or challenge ourselves with. Oh yeah, all the time.
As a matter of fact, I couldn't wait because I knew when I got it, I just want to, because you can't sit in a house and listen to CDs. So I just go in the car and drive around. Let me ask you this, because a couple of things you said is you said you couldn't imagine yourself sitting in this role right now.
Yeah.
Why do you, what do you think caused you, why are you sitting in this role? Why you?
Again, my husband just said to me, I want to say a couple days ago, I can't, looking back, you manifested all of this. I am a big believer in aspirations, in words of aspirations, in reaching beyond, where I could possibly see myself. Funny enough, it seems that everything that I have done on my path to this point, all kind of culminated into this space. Like it just seemed like intentional, which is interesting. So I actually, I mean, I'm old, my friend. You go way back. I am a journalism major. My first internships were in the media world, in book publishing and magazine, press release, political content, all of that kind of thing. So that was like foundational. Then becoming an entrepreneur in the real estate space and really having to push myself and find mentors and advisors in the entrepreneur space, which is why success was, such an easy connection there. Is it can be lonely as an entrepreneur. Who do you talk to on a regular basis that might challenge you or push you outside of your comfort zone? What are some of the, the practices, the tactical, strategic that you aren't thinking of? Like, how do you grow in that space? And Success Magazine was one of those spaces that I learned to grow as an entrepreneur. Then I got, probably 20 years or so, I have touched the real estate industry in some way, shape, or form. Whether it was my being an entrepreneur or coaching franchise owners and agents and team leaders in their leadership and entrepreneurship and growth journey. And I drew from Success Magazine and content from the greats to pass down to from a training and education standpoint. So how did I get here? The most random story of all time, I think. Almost exactly a year ago, I was attending a real estate conference, a well-known industry conference in New York City, and I had facilitated and moderated quite a few sessions. I was working with Buffini & Company, amazing coaching training organization in the real estate space, some of the best, I think, ever in the business. And I was happy with what I was doing. So I was not in any way, shape, or form looking for a new opportunity or for a new job. But on my last day, last night, I almost always get together with a bunch of powerful female boss lady leaders. And it's January in New York, and we talk about our goals for the next year so that we can be accountability partners and support each other. And a girlfriend of mine said, so how are things going? How's your year been? And so in reflection, I just said, it's good.
How's your what?
How's your business? How's your mindset? How are things going?
Okay,
and
got
I
biz.
said,
Right.
Good. And she kind of looked at me and said, cross-eyed, good doesn't look good on you.
Good.
I don't like good.
Yeah.
And she kind of left it like that, which was, ambiguous and made me question a lot of things, because I think good is good. There's nothing wrong with good, but she's right. For me, good's not great. And hold that moment, good to great, in your mind for a second. The next morning I was leaving, excited to head home from New York to Colorado, long flight in my future. And I put on some sweatpants, threw my hair up in a ponytail, texted the lady, said, great, always great to see you as always. See you next time. And a girlfriend replied back and said, hey, Glenn Sanford would like to talk to you before you leave. And I've met Glenn before. We had actually been on a Zoom before. And I think that was my first thought was, you know what, we can Zoom. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt. I'm tired. I'm ready to get to the airport. And she said, I think that would be a mistake. She actually said, nobody cares. Put on a dress that you wore earlier this week, take a perfume bath, and get your ass down here. So I did, with luggage and everything in tow, and didn't really know what the conversation was going to be about. And I don't think he did either. We just had a conversation about books we were reading, podcasts we listened to, content that has inspired us in our lives. And at the end of the meeting, he looked at me and he said, Amy, do you know Jim Collins? And I said, yeah, good to great. Ironic, right? And he said, yeah, I subscribe to the Jim Collins way that, you figure out your who, and once you find your who, you figure out your what, your why later. He said, I don't know what, I don't know why, but I think you might be my who, which was probably one of the most directly intentional feelings of worth, maybe I had ever felt in a space. It was like, it smacked me. It smacked me hard. And I went to the airport, called my husband. And I said, you're not going to believe what just happened. And I don't know what it means, But I feel like an instant opportunity here, not knowing that anything existed. And then I flew home, many hours on a plane, and was brainstorming strategy for a company I didn't work for.
It's
And
amazing.
it didn't feel right, So, the Buffini brother, unbelievable human beings. And in a conversation with Dermot Buffini, he said, when you're called, you don't ask questions.
Yeah.
You go with where you're being pulled. And I said, I think this is actually an opportunity I cannot refuse. I mean, it's just ironic how I got here. And so that was January. By Valentine's Day, I had accepted a position to be the lead of Success Enterprises.
Well, that's awesome. Great story. Congratulations. And yeah, I've had the chance to have lunch with Glenn a few times just at the events and stuff. And he's just a really good, genuine guy. And
Incredible.
you can tell he really cares, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. One of the reasons I am here is he's an incredible leader, an innovator, someone who thinks, very, very far ahead. His heart is in the right space. I mean, I can't underscore the fact that he's brilliant, what he's done. So learning from him and growing from learning from him is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
So the good-hearted, influential billionaire guy says you're the who, and you're like, okay,
Wow, yeah.
Let's go. Amen. Right? I love it. Something else you mentioned earlier as well is different vantage point. We were actually talking about this morning in a group, because I primarily coached real estate agents for trained the last 12 years of my life. But now I'm opening it up, and so we did a workshop last weekend, and I had 2 people that owned insurance companies. I had a guy that owned 6 hair salons. I had a guy that owned the HVAC company, and it was so cool to get the different perspectives, and a lot of the realtors that were in there too, people that run big teams, they were getting more from the other business owners than they were from the real estate agents that were there. Absolutely. So it just kind of opened my mind to that. And then you just said that as well. Why is that important? Talk about that.
I think, and that goes back to why I actually started subscribing to Success Magazine. Is you can talk to real estate people about real estate, but what you can learn as an entrepreneur, as a leader, from other people in the spaces that then you translate, it's a challenge to translate into your own business. I think that stretches the mind. I think it gives you a perspective of something that, I think a lot of times we put ourselves in a box. I'm a real estate entrepreneur, right? I sit in this space, but where am I going to learn? Where am I going to grow? It could be from a space it could be, from athletes, professional athletes. It could be from Olympians, the things that drive leaders, no matter what space that you're in, is something that you can learn from and be inspired by. So I think perspective is everything. And we grow by reaching outside of our comfort walls. Yeah. And I don't know anything about your business. I'm not sure I need to know anything about your business. Tell me about what drives you. Tell me about your leadership principle. Tell me about tools and technology that help you, generate leads that I might be able to twist and turn. I actually travel a lot. I was in New York last week, and I was visiting with a large brand regional owner in Paraguay, we'll say. And she was telling me the things that she is bringing to her organization and to her company. She's in New York, learning from what's going on in the United States market, learning from tech companies. How are they expanding? How are they providing valuable tools and services and education and training to their agent base? And guess who's not doing it in Paraguay or Uruguay or, Argentina? She's going to be the first to do it, right? Wow. Because she put herself into a space of hey, maybe our government, maybe our policies and our rules and our religions and traditions don't necessarily support this right now, but there are elements of it I can bring over, and we'll be the first. So I love that way of thinking and pushing yourself out of.
Well, I think one of the things I was really interested on that, and then we'll shift gears a little bit, is we do a role play, and so it's like 20, each person gets 20 minutes. They build out like this, the script or the word track, and then they role play it. And it was interesting when you came back, and like some of the realtors that role played with people in different industries, they had gotten objections that they've never heard before, and then the people in the different industries, they did not understand, like they just didn't really get it. They didn't really get what real estate agents did at that level and why they charge what they charge. It was just a really interesting, I guess, dynamic when you were really looking at what was happening in the different perspectives, and then the realtor saying, wow, like I never really thought of it from that perspective. Like some of the feedback you gave me, it was pretty wild.
I
Um,
love that. Yeah, I love that. Not only an opportunity to educate each other, but if you are in your head contemplating or expecting certain objections to fall into certain buckets, that
yes.
I would imagine that really trained people in that room to think, I don't know what I could, what to anticipate or what to expect. What is really happening behind the words? And are there
Sure.
similarities across, the different industries? They may not specifically understand how real estate or real estate agents serve, but the true core to the objection, probably across the lines, was pretty consistent.
What? Yeah, 100%. But then there's the real
Yep, the
objection
real,
is
real
right.
objection.
Is like, and as realtors, me being a realtor, right, 19 years in real estate, have oh, okay, I already know the real objection, but I really don't,
Right.
right? Because sometimes most times we're not digging deep enough. So,
That's
all
right.
right, so great stuff. Let me ask you this. Right now we're in, February, 24. Just different times, right? There's a lot going on in the
Yes.
world. Just a lot. Why is success important right now? Like, do you think the magazine has a responsibility now, and with so much going on, or like, what's your take on that?
Absolutely. And that's a really, really great question. It is for a lot of us. It's heavy, depending on the circles that you roll in. If you're in the real estate space, we're taking some knocks on the chin that are unprecedented, and I think there's a lot of questioning and concern. What are things going to look like in the future? And I guess I would say that is one of the goals on the success side is we can get, again, just so trapped in our own tunnel vision and thinking that we have some kind of direct control on the outcome, right? That we're so focused on the outcome. What if this happens? How are we going to prepare for that? I think one of the responsibilities that success has is to provide real, practical, tactical tools, strategies, mindsets that help people focus on the process and not the end goal. Because I could give you a million stories of what focusing on the outcome does to your mindset, to your energy level, to your excuse making, to your burnout level, all of those things. And it's new. Some of these things feel scary. So jumping and focusing there, I think, is a tendency of we'll say drivers. How can I control that? You can't. You know what you can control is focusing on the process that are going to put you in the places that you need to be to grow your business.
Mm.
And when you go through the content of any success magazine, I'll tell you kind of how we decide what we're doing and how we focus. But I believe that there's content in there, and our job is to deliver content to people to help them refine the process so that they are in charge of their own destiny and not having to respond to things that may just come from us from thin air or change our industry. That's fine. Focus on your process. Focus on what puts you in front of the client that you desire, delivering the value that is a major part of your brand delivery consistently, and everything's gonna be all right.
So just so I'm clear, so you're saying, focus on the goal, like have the goal
That's
far
cool.
out, but right, but then you're really spending your time focusing on the activities or the
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 process.
tasks, the processes that get you there.
It's
That's
truly
where all your focus
thing
is.
you are in control of, right? Putting the goal out there. I'm a big
Do
believer.
do you have a system to do that, Amy, or is there a way? Like, is there a book or what? How do you do that? How do you focus on that?
Oh man. So I guess I do a little bit of an assessment of, okay, of the things, like what are the things that are my highest and best use? What are the things that really move the needle for me and my business? There's a whole bunch of things that other people can do to help you move your business or move the needle with your business that are not your highest and best use, right? Where you can leverage team members and you can leverage assistants and technology and all of those kinds of things. What are the things that you do, or I'll talk to myself. What are the things that I do? What are my highest and best processes, tools, tactics, strategies that when I am dialed into them, I know deliver a particular result. And those are the processes that for some reason, we get all caught up in the noise, and those are the first things we let drop. Like, oh, I need to focus on this and this and this and this and this, all these things, all the juggling balls in the air, versus if I just double down here, right? This is my highest and best use. This is what delivers results, regardless of what's going on in the world, the economy, my region, my neighborhood, whatever that is. This is the thing I need to double down on, and everything else is noise. So I do think, absolutely, I've got my goal list here, for personal, family, business, all of that kind of stuff. And it's really important to mine through that. Why is that important to you? What would this mean for you? Having those goals written. I'm a big believer in written goals, not just dreams, actual written. I also am a big believer in pulling in accountability partners to that. So sharing it with, my husband and we write our goals every single year so that we are accountability, partners for each other. And you can't, I can cheat myself all day. You bring in accountability partners, it's hard to weasel out. Same thing with the business. Is we're very, we're crystal clear on what it is that we want to accomplish this year, and what are the processes that are going to help us get there. And we hold ourselves accountable to that process that we know is going to deliver the result.
Yeah, super smart. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't control, or not you, like you said, but we can't control the economy. We can't control what, the administration does, right? We can't. Yeah. So what we can control are the things that we're doing on a daily, on an hourly, and on a minute. There's no such thing as minutely, but I could say minutely basis, right? Like we can control those things.
That's right.
So that's a great reminder to, but do you think a lot of people aren't do we have a lot of people that aren't really even clear what they should be focusing on, or do you think most people know?
And I have a really silly process for discovering that. If you get so far in your head that you're not sure what that is, ask the people you serve, right? Ask your customer, ask your client, when you think of me, what is it that you think of? If you were going to recommend me, what would you be telling people about me? That's it. That's your highest and best use. Double down on what that is. You always touch base with me regularly. You always informed me about what was going on with, with the properties. I love the fact that you would pop by here, once in a while. I appreciate the fact that, you invited us to an event and let us know what's going on, with mortgage rates and particular, product offerings. You're like, okay, these are the things that people value, that they would tell people to work with me because these are the things I deliver. Double down on those things. Yeah. They're not going to say, well, I got a great, the home price interest rate. They're just not, that's not the thing that you are well known for. That's not your highest and best use value. And for some reason, we still let it paralyze us. Is, oh my gosh, home prices. Oh my goodness, inventory. Oh my goodness, interest rates. That is not what you're known for. That is not something you're in control of. Find out what it really is: quality service, relationship, open communication, regular transparency. What is that? Go do that.
Hey, so do you have a few minutes if we took a few questions from people on Clubhouse? We got about 30 people listening in right now live. Sure. So if anybody on Clubhouse or also the other streams, raise your hand and I'll bring you up. If you want to ask Amy a question, just raise your hand and we'll bring you up. Here's a question for you though. That as I'm listening to you, you talk a lot about real estate.
Yeah.
Is success just focused on real estate now, or is it still?
Yeah, no, I was actually trying to speak to your audience that I think is
Okay, got
primarily
it, got it.
real
And so,
estate.
and I didn't tell you, but what my goal is to expand my
Okay,
audience beyond just real estate. So,
that's
which is what
us.
we've been doing for the last year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no,
So that's my fault. Yeah.
we are definitely not industry or brand specific. We are agnostic on all sides. I can tell you again for how we put together the magazine intentionally and pull the ecosystem around starts very intentionally with creating themes. We have our themes for every issue of the magazine. I think we're through 2025. We know what the topic is. We know what the heading is. We know what the focal point is. From there, we identify the cover talent that is doing something in that space that's meaningful, that's impactful, that helps tell that story. Every feature, every article then comes along to support that. So our Steve Aoki issue is on newsstands right now. That hit, I want to say January, February. The topic is AI. You probably wouldn't think of that when you think of Steve Aoki. I'm really, really proud of the team and pulling together. This issue is, I think, one of the best we've ever done. And part of it is that intentional focus and not getting pulled off into anything, off topic. But Steve Aoki uses AI for building his music tracks. Wow. Articles inside about AI in longevity, in health, in how to talk to children about AI, everything you can think of in every industry that touches AI, and from that different perspective. I talk about, my CEO letters about how to lead and effectively lead and have a conversation about AI with media, which was, an incredibly scary thing. And I am vulnerable enough to say I maybe messed up on my first response. I'm like, yes, this is so exciting. I was, and I go back and I tell the team, and you could tell the panic was like, do we have jobs? Right? Like, Amy's excited about AI. If it can write all the articles and it's going to replace human beings and it's going to replace, what we're doing in video and content and courses and all this kind of stuff. I went, oh, you know what? I really jumped the gun on that with my excitement. We should have had a conversation of exploration. Go research AI, go play around with ChatGPT, see what it can do for you. See what questions you have, and then let's pull it back together and have a conversation. So it recorrected my leadership approach on AI, but like through the entire magazine, that is what it's focused on. It's not an industry necessarily. It's all industries. It's not a particular brand. It's brand agnostic. So no, not real estate, whole life.
Well, that's why I asked, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing. And that's like I said, it's my fault because you might have just assumed I was all real estate, which is we were a couple of years ago, but I've been expanding outside of real estate, which is why we're doing these events now with all these other local businesses, and it's just it's amazing. So what? By the way, did you buy your name.ai yet? Amy Somerville.ai. Yeah. Go buy it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Do you know there is a?
I bought mine. It's the only David Hill I own is davidhill.ai. Yeah, I couldn't get my name anywhere else. I have David I Hill on all my other ones. It's all David I Hill, but I got the one davidhill.ai. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because if people look up Amy Somerville or just do a regular search, there is apparently a brilliant woman out there that shares my exact name, a little bit of likeness, but she is a professional furniture builder. And so she bought my name before I even thought to buy my name. So that's always a challenge. That's great. That's a great suggestion.
Absolutely. Well, and also with AI, I'm sure you're aware, but we're all creating our own content avatars and all that other stuff. Going to be in the next couple of years. It's going to look a lot different than it does now. So maybe we'll have our avatars on here doing a podcast while we're just chilling somewhere on the beach, right?
Oh my goodness. You know what? If I get efficiencies, so I could be in multiple places at one time, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, this is my last question. Well, Gail did come up. I don't know if Gail, do you have a question for Amy?
And I'm just coming in, as you can see, David. Are we talking real estate or are we talking, what are we talking about?
Oh, no, that's fine. We were just talking about success, but if you don't have a question, that's fine. I just asked if anybody had questions. You raised your hand. That's why I brought you up. So it's all good.
Oh.
I know Amy's on a tight schedule. So Amy, I'm going to ask you one last question. What is the, what would you say is the one thing you've learned in the past year? Probably the one big thing you've learned in the past year as the CEO, or almost year as a CEO of success.
One of the things, oh gosh, this is like your, the whole favorite topic, favorite kid thing. One of the things I've learned is that, I think that there is something to wrapping your brain or focusing your brain around the things that not only make you more full and more alive, but that when you concentrate on that kind of thing, that manifestation happens. I never would have told you, to your point earlier, I never would have told you, 20 years ago, I would be, while I was looking at my success magazine, that I was going to be featured in and, or, running the media, company behind the scenes. But I think the big piece is get real clear on your North Star. Who it is that you want to be, the impact you want to make, the legacy that you want to leave. And when you look back in time, like the question that I like to pose to myself is like, do you remember when you were hoping for the things that you actually have today, right? Like, do you remember dreaming of the things that you actually have today? Holy cow. Like, being able to see that journey, it's all, hindsight's always 2020. Looking back, know that you are building your future right now. So what you think about, what you concentrate on, where you place your value, I think putting that as hokey as that sounds, you put that in the universe, and that's something you concentrate on.
Journal? Do you journal? Are you a journal? Do you journal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Journals, lots of journals.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So yeah, that's why I asked, because I pay attention to that, and that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for doing this. And how do people, if they want to get in touch with you, or if they want to follow you, if they want to subscribe to Success, what's the best way to do that?
Success.com is all things success. And like I said, we've got a podcast we're rolling out this year. We've got a digital magazine we're rolling out this year. We're doing some things and some really fun spaces. I won't spoiler alert all of them. So be watching us on success.com. We actually have an event that's coming up here, a virtual event in March. So check into all of that detail. And if you would ever like to reach me, easy peasy, amy.somerville@success.com.
All right, perfect. Well, listen, Amy, appreciate you. And final thought for you, final question is, what does Path to Mastery mean to you?
Oh gosh, you and I have had this conversation. The term pathway to mastery means a lot to me. I think it first and foremost means that you acknowledge and are committed to being learning based, that you don't know everything you need to know in this life to achieve mastery. So learning from the greats, whether it's through Success or podcasts or events or conferences or masterminds, like always be a seeker of knowledge and learning. And I think that redundancy is really important. I'm one of those people that reads a book more than one time, because I know I'll be in a different mind space the second, the third time, and I'm going to take something totally different from it than I took the first time. So I think that's mastery, is when you understand concepts so well that you can see it from multiple different angles and have approached it different places in your life, and then can turn around and teach it. So be learning based, committed to consistency or redundancy, and teach it to others.
Amazing. Well, listen, appreciate you. You crushed it for us. Thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. All right. Thank you again. Thanks for being here.
Fabulous. Thank you, David.